Let's start the project. Good evening. You Talk News here. Government decrees the plan to resume activities at the end of the quarantine. Brazilian Championship returns with normal games but with no audience. Weather forecasts and movie tips for the end of the quarantine. Lebanese immigrant can't return to her orange country. You Talk News starting. The government of São Paulo confirmed the return of the activities for the end of the quarantine. Let's talk now with journalist Ghislaine Annenberg, who is at Planalto Palace, and we will speak to Secretary John Dorian. Good evening, Annenberg.
Good evening, Bia Vasconcelos. Good evening, Mr. Secretary.
Good evening.
What are the government's decisions to resume activities?
Good evening, Ms. Annenberg. Good evening, everybody. And we are dividing the recovery plan into two phases. In the first phase, business and services will resume their activities until Christmas.
So, São Claus won't be in the risk group anymore?
We have to believe in the miracle of Christmas. It's not.
And what is the plan for the second phase?
In the second phase, hotels, cinemas, churches, parks, and schools will have their activities resumed until the Carnival of 2021. But the football games are already released.
Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary, for the information. It's up to you, Beatriz Vasconcelos.
Now, let's go to the weather forecast with Maju Belmont. In São Paulo. Hi, Maju. Does the cold continue?
Hi, Bia. Good evening for who is watching. The weather will continue North Polo style. Cold fronts coming for all around. Therefore, there is no way to run. So take out the old-fashioned fur jacket that your grandmother gave you 5 years ago, and you sure that you would use but had never done it. You need it for these days. Well, hold on. I'm getting new information. It looks like the weather in Brasilia is getting hotter and hotter, if you know what I mean. In the next weekend, we got the new information. The sun is going to show. However, it will like a refrigerator lamp. It means that serve only to light. The weather will vary 34, 24 degrees. You must leave your home with favorite jackets and be prepared to take it off during the day, like you are peeling an onion. Hey, at night you feeling like you are in the Frozen movie. Now it's if you, Vasconcelos.
Thanks, Maju. Yes, it's really, really cold here in São Paulo. And the weather is really crazy. So it's hard to leave home. Of course, we are in quarantine. So that's it. Now, I'm having trouble 1 second here with the signal. We will be back right now with Maju. Maju, do you have any film recommendations for this quarantine ending?
Yes, I have. If you have Netflix, you can watch The Life and the History of Madame J.C. Walker. It's a good film.
Perfect. It's a good film because it's about racism and everything. What's going on with the world, right?
Yes.
Perfect. Now we came back right after the commercials. Let's go to the commercials.
Hello! Are you suffering from hair loss? Do you have low self-esteem? Do you believe in miracle products that haven't worked so far? Today, I present you the solution. The hair again lotion that's helping thousands of people in Brazil has arrived. With hair again, your hair gets stronger, tougher, and healthier. Buy your hair again lotion today. Visit now www.x-belgehairagain.com or call 11 2777 4242.
We are back now with You Talk News. Now let's talk with our commentator and correspondent, Vinicius Bueno.
Good evening, Beatriz. Good evening, everyone. I come to bring news about Brazilian football and the main news about the return of activities in the post-quarantine period.
How do CBF and club presidents see the return of training, games, and championships in early July?
The vast majority do not agree to return so quickly. There was a meeting with several disagreements where the president of Vasco and Botafogo signed a term that does not hold them responsible if the athletes become contaminated.
What do health officials say about the games? Even with all the tests that will be done with the players, is there still a risk of contamination by physical contact in the field?
The game is really gradually released on the condition that athletes wear masks and not hug each other when celebrating goals, which I think is absurd. However, there will be no fans at first in the stadiums.
Will wearing masks damage athletes' performance? What do coaches say about this?
Yes, it will get in the way. The field won't be the same, but it's a safer measure at the moment until things are back to normal.
How will the post-pandemic economic affect the club, and what is the forecast in the view of all involved regarding the return of the games with the fans?
Clubs will run out of money because sponsors have taken a step back from their investments. The game, with fans being very optimistic, may return in September. I am speaking for São Paulo, a great Wednesday for all viewers.
Thanks, Vinicius. It's really complicated, all these things that is happening with the football, but it's good that we are starting to flexibilize this again. Now we are going to interview a Lebanese immigrant who is trying to return home with the end of this quarantine. Let's talk to the journalist Joe Connor now. Good evening, Connor.
Good evening, Beatriz Vasconcelos. We are here at Guarulhos International Airport, and we will talk to Miss Loha Mihama, who is trying to return to her native country. Uh, Good evening, Ms. Lohami. How is the situation in your country?
Good evening, Mr. Connor. Good evening, everybody. Actually, my country situation has normalized for a long time.
So the problem is leaving Brazil?
For sure. Since when I came to Carnival, I can't stop enjoying the energy of Brazilian people.
And what about the ticket for you to return?
But who say I want to go back? Brazil is my home now.
Thanks, Ms. Lohami, for the interview. And we return to You Talk News Studios.
We are here. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Joe. That's the end of You Talk News for today. See you next Wednesday. Have a good night.